Hey guys, welcome to Pretty Killer Podcast. I am your host, Jordana, and tonight I have a very special, wonderful guest, Mark from Mark Loves Horror.
Hi, how are you?
I'm so excited, babe. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so glad. Of course, core four, but alone time with you is always great. So I'm ready.
I'm going to name this episode the Gale to my Sid.
Oh, that is, I love that. I always remember our first convo. We were like Gale Sydney. It was meant to happen.
It was that connection. And honestly, like, I've been on here for a couple of, 2 years, and I just like felt this instant connection with you. And I just am so happy that that happened to turn into Core 4 to now have this.
Yes.
So, and Core
No.
4 will be on. I'd love to have Aubrey and Maddie on, but do you want to tell everyone about like your show and how Core 4 came about and all the stuff that you do?
Yeah, of course. So I got bored one day and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do what I love and talk about horror. So I made an Instagram account, Mark Loves Horror, where you can be a whore for horror and you can be a whore and it's a good thing for once, you know?
Exactly.
But yeah, I don't have a podcast. I do Instagram Live. And I invite people, whoever wants to come on, I invite them. We chit chat.
Yep.
And one day during the Scream release, I put out, hey, who wants to join? And of course, Jordana reached out. And actually, that was the day the power went out. So I had to go do my Instagram live at Valero parking lot.
That was so much fun. Like I
It
felt like
was.
we were in a horror movie because of like the setting, and it was just as much as it sucked, it was perfect.
And it worked out.
Yeah.
And then one day I don't know, actually I feel like I didn't ask like, hey, let's all go live. I just did it and it
What
just
was it?
happened.
What was it? What were we talking about? Was it Scream or like how did we come about?
Either Scream, I know not Evil Dead, because that was later.
Yeah. What was
I
it?
think it was Scream, like afterwards we talked about Scream.
Yeah, because I remember like you had Aubrey on, and then I think like I hopped on, and then Maddie hopped on.
And it had to be during Scream because that's Core 4. That's when it came out and we were like, Core 4, oh my God.
I love it too because it was like the evolution of us, and it was also the evolution of like my secret love for Scream 6 because I hated it, and then now I'm just
Yes.
kind of like, I love it.
Yeah. And now like Maddie has something that he might be coming up with where, it's just
I
I just
know.
love it. I love it.
I love it too. I always look forward to our Core 4 nights, and I just feel like we have such a bond, the four of us, and I'm thankful for that. So
Yes. It's
it's
like two guys and then two girls because, like, hello, like, I'm that girl. Like, we're that girl. We're the girls. We're the
we bring
girls
the
of Core
sass.
4.
Yes.
Yes.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yes.
I love it. But so do you think you'll ever like want to do a podcast, or are you like happy with what you're doing now?
That's a good question. Like, I really love, like, just how natural it is with, like, Instagram Live.
Yeah.
I tried the TikTok thing and it's just too much. I don't know. I guess we'll see, like, how it comes. Because once I hit a year, I want to see, like, where I'm at.
Yeah.
Um, I would like to do a podcast, but I know it's, like, a lot of work.
Yes.
And
It
right
is.
now, like, with work and, like, volunteer stuff, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Um, so maybe just Instagram for a little bit. We'll see.
It's nice to like test the waters out because that's what I did. I like went in with a podcast intention and had no idea what it entailed, and it's a lot that I
Yeah.
learned, and I'm like not tech savvy at all. So it's nice because you have a good following already, and you are so consistent with your content. You have amazing content.
Oh, stop
the
it.
I love the questions that you post like every single day because when it's like choose, you always have the most intense options. And I remember like I kept saying it's a tie, and you're like, Jordana, you have to pick one.
Just one. You can only pick one.
I
Yeah.
know it's so hard, but I love the stuff that you come up with. So
Thank you.
kudos.
And
Yes.
I love, like, of course, I always like, oh, I want to do a podcast, but I also like being a special guest on other people's podcasts.
Yes.
So that's fun for me. So we'll see, maybe.
Yes. We'll circle back in a year and see where everything's at, because I'm sure it's going to be blown up times, triple, because you're just,
Hopefully.
yes,
Hopefully.
amazing. I know.
Yes.
It's so nice. Okay, so let's jump into some questions. So
Okay.
the main question is like, what was your first experience with horror? Like, what got you into horror?
It's so cliche. But I don't know. I feel like I've always just been like a horror fan, you know? I tell everyone, my mom went into labor with me and my twin watching A Nightmare on Elm Street. So I feel like that scared us out of her, and it
Mhm.
scared me to come out to see
Yes,
horror, you know? Um,
I love it.
but I don't know. I love being like, because like the horror community, they're like the weird ones. They're like, oh, you can sit through that and watch all that. And I
Yeah,
love like geeking out about it. And then everyone's all like, what? You watch that? Like, it's
yeah.
exciting. I don't know. I just being scared too. I love being scared.
It's such a rush. It's like that adrenaline rush
Yes.
when it's something that you haven't seen. Even like there's some older movies that I still just get an adrenaline rush to.
Yes.
Like I know this is one of your, if not faves, but when I watched Texas Chainsaw 2003,
Oh,
and the van part, and then the one part that always gets me is when they're in and the old man's like, bring it. And he's stomping the floor and then he's like, what? And
yes.
then all of a sudden the doors rip open. Like
Yes.
my heart pumps for that. And I love that scene. It's so
I
good.
get literal chills every time that van scene comes out and the bullet hole, the camera just zooms out of it.
Yeah.
It is so beautifully done. I love it. Like, oh, like my
It's,
nips are getting hard just thinking about it. I love
it's
it.
perfect. It's so good. Like,
Yes.
who is that? Marcus Nispel that directed it, I believe, correct?
I believe so. Yes.
Yes. Genius, because he also did Friday the 13th, the remake, and I
That
enjoyed
was a nine.
that one. I really liked that because I loved a lot of the shots, and you could see there were like parallel, like the
Yeah.
shot when Jason's on the roof of the camp and he kind of like stands
Yes.
up. I love that shot. I don't know what it is, but that always sticks in my mind.
Yeah. It's funny because, like, I've seen a movie before. Like, for example, I just watched The Strangers Pray at Night.
Yes.
I love it. A lot of
Yeah,
people don't. I love it.
I liked it.
And I've watched it a couple times, but for some reason it was thundering outside and I freaking screamed like on one of the like stupidest parts. And just like that adrenaline rush was just like, oh my God, like I love
Yes.
it. I love
I
it.
don't think there was a couple during Pray at Night that got me really good, like this the tube scene and she just shows up on the side.
That's the part I screamed on.
Yeah, it was so
Literally. Yes.
it's so
Yes.
good. And
It's
that's
good.
the thing too, and I also want to go back to what you said about like being the weird ones. I always loved horror from a young age. So like out of my friend group, I was the one that like wanted to go see H2O over Titanic. Like all my girlfriends are like, "Oh, let's go see this." I'm like, "Let's go see Michael Myers." But I feel like the horror community is like we can tolerate and we can sit through the nastiest shit, but we are like such a good group of people. Like we have such good hearts, and I feel like, we have great intentions and we're so, open to talk with people. I mean, I know there's a few out of the bunch that aren't, but for the most part, I think we have such a great community.
Yeah, and I feel like we just like, of course, there's some people where you're like in the horror community where you're like, that's not my cup of tea, like, but you meet like for example, like us, like the way we just hit it off, it was just like so crazy and like,
Yeah.
it's genuine, and I love that.
I love that brought us together too, because horror is so special to me that to share it with other people that are
Yes.
amazing like you, it's such a bond. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
like we find our people, and I love it.
Yeah. I love it.
It's great. So with that being said, too, what was the first horror movie that you ever watched?
So, I honestly I can't tell you the first horror movie I ever watched, but I guess the most genuine answer I ever give is the first movie I saw in theaters.
Yep.
And that was The Grudge 2003.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah, it was. I was the weird one that was like, I want to go see this, and nobody wanted to go see it except my mom.
Yeah.
And then we took one of my friends that I was playing flag football with.
Mhm.
He was like, yeah, I want to see it. I want to see it. So we get to the theater and he's under the blanket the whole entire time. And
Love it.
I'm literally like this, like, oh, like, it was the best experience ever. I just remember sitting there like, holy shit, like, this is so scary. Like, I loved it.
I love that
Um,
because on the big screen would be because I don't think I saw it on the big screen. I think I saw that like on DVD or whatever, but
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that would be such a good movie to watch in theaters.
Yeah, it was a good experience. And then my second movie in the theaters was Amityville Horror, the Ryan Reynolds.
Mr.
And
Reynolds on the big screen.
yes,
Oh
at
my
the time I wasn't gay, but if gay Mark would have seen that, he would have been like, oh my God.
God. I
Oh
know.
my God.
That man is
Yes.
like such a unnatural specimen of a man. Like he's just literal
Yes.
from top to bottom, like perfection.
And the way they like zoom in on his body, I'm like, y'all know what y'all are doing. Like,
You're bringing in the bucks that way, honey.
yes. So yeah, those two. And then my first like actual like DVD collection,
Mhm.
for my I think my 10th birthday, I got the Nightmare on Elm Street disc collection. And I
Ooh,
remember I watched them all in one day when I got it.
it's amazing.
Um, so
That's
shout out my mom. My mom is really the one that kickstarted it.
I love that for you because so, like my mom hated horror.
Yeah.
And she like when as soon as she started watching stuff, I know she was like messaging you because I went on like, you know,
Yes.
your live for Scream and she literally watched like all the Screams in 2 days. She watched all the Halloweens in like 2 days. And she went with me to see Texas Chainsaw because the first time I went and saw it was with a group of friends and we got like supremely high and watched it. And I was like, you know, how intense it is. So the
Yeah.
first time I'm like, holy shit. So I wanted to go back and see it in the theaters. And my mom's like, well, I'll go with you, but you got to tell me all the scary parts. And I did not tell her about the van.
That band scene is literally traumatizing.
I know
Like,
I felt bad, but I just didn't I was so like internally like freaking out. I didn't want to say it. So I was
yeah,
sitting there and she slapped me so hard. She's like, Jordana. I'm like, I'm
that's so
sorry.
funny. Yeah, so like my mom, I love my mom. Like
Mhm.
she can do it. Like she loves haunted houses, she loves to be scared.
Yes.
But like something about scary movies is like I've gotten used to it because as a fan now, I love to see people's reactions in the theater.
Mhm.
But she's a type to talk to the screen. Like she'll be like, "Oh hell no! Oh no 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 no!" Like she'll talk out loud and then she'll scream, and it'll cause me to scream, and it's like a ripple effect, and
But it's fun. Like that's the
it's
fun of it.
fun.
Like
Yeah, it's
my mom's in the theater too at Scream and she was like, I think, oh, I know what that is. That's referencing, you know, three. And I'm like, good job, mom. Like
yeah.
you're,
Right.
you're
I'm
doing
so
really
proud of you. Yeah. So
well. That's awesome. Shout out to our moms for being the goats of horror
yes,
in
yes,
different ways, but still, you know.
yeah, for sure.
So we touched on Ryan Reynolds. So like, who are your top three horror hunks out of the genre?
Okay, so I had a hard time and I wrote them all down. I wrote like a bunch of guys down, but
Yeah.
I narrowed it to three.
Okay.
And we'll do it from like three, two, one. So one will
Perfect.
be like the best.
Yeah.
Um, so um, Martin Henderson from X. He's the one, the director, the porn
Yes.
director,
Okay. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
and he was also the dad in Strangers Pray at Night.
Oh, I did not know that.
But I fell in love with him in X.
I could see that. I mean, X is a very sexual, like sexy intended movie, so I
Yes.
totally understand that.
And for me, like obviously my husband, I'm in an age gap relationship, so my husband's older.
Yep.
So Martin Henderson's older, and I'm like, oh, that is my type to a T. Like, I love it.
That's my husband. We have an age gap too, and I'm all about the older men, you know, like
Yes.
a
Me too,
hardworking
girl.
man. There's something about
Yes. Something about a girl. And then
yeah.
the salt and pepper hair,
Mm,
loves it.
I
Yes.
know. Oh,
I love it.
great pick.
um, number two is Timothy. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but
Oliphant.
you already know.
Oh my God, yes, and he is a sexy beast. I love
Yeah.
Gale.
So for those of you who don't know, it's Mickey from Scream.
Yep.
But he's also in A Perfect Getaway.
Yes, and also he was in the Crazies remake, and I think that he
Yes.
looked so good in that one because he had on his sheriff outfit.
Yes. But I also love him in A Perfect Getaway because they show his ass. So,
You know what? That's been on my list because that was recommended by my friend. Shout out Kevin, and he's like, "You want to watch a good like?" Because we were talking about Joyride. Because isn't Steve Zahn in that one?
yes.
Yes, and he's like, "You need to watch A Perfect Getaway." Timothy Olyphant's in it, and Steve Zahn, and I'm like, "Oh my god!" So I have to watch it.
Yeah. And also Mia Jovovich,
Yep,
she's from The Fourth Kind, which I love her in that movie.
love that
Um,
movie. That's my one of my husband's favorites, and I love that movie.
it's my favorite Alien movie. Like, I love
Yes,
it.
hands
So
down,
good.
so good.
Yeah. And she's hot. So, love her.
Yes.
And number one,
Who? Oh my god, you went.
yeah, Josh Hartnett.
Yes, Faculty, H2O. Give me 30 Days a Night.
Yes. Something about that dirty hair in the 90s. I love it.
I loved him too back in the day.
Yes.
I mean, I think he aged well, and he
Yeah.
is. I don't know if you and I discussed this, but if they ever like went back to a Halloween, like revisiting something that has to do with Halloween, because let's be real, we know what's going to happen. I
Yeah.
would love to have a John come back and
Yes.
follow his storyline and have him come back.
I would that the yeah, and then even his girlfriend. What was his girlfriend's name in H2O?
Oh my god, why did it's Michelle Williams, and I can't think of her name. It's not. It's not Darcy. Oh my god, I'm drawing a blank. I got to look this up.
Okay. Yeah, but that chase scene when they're
Molly.
running into Molly.
Yes.
Oh, something about that chase scene where they're locked in the gate, it literally gives spines, like chills to my spine because Josh Hartnett's character is like physically like you can hear him like yelling. It's beautiful.
That scene is another one that gets my adrenaline pumping every goddamn time because
Yes.
when they're from the start when they find the body and he's like, this is a sick joke, and you like see their faces, and then the door opens and the chick's there and they
Yes.
get chased out, and that scene when he stands up and they're against the wall and you could just hear them, and I'm like, "Ooh," it's so
Yeah,
well done. H2O is so goddamn good. I
it
love H.
is. I love it. It's iconic. It's hip.
Yeah,
It's sexy. It's everything a good 99 2000s movie should be.
you can't like go wrong with the 90s, the late 90s horror, because
No.
that early 2000s, that's was like prime time. Like
Yeah.
that's one of my faves.
I wish I was older. Like, I wish I was in my 20s or 18, 19, 20 during that time period,
Yeah.
just because I feel like, what a time to be alive.
That's when I was like 13, 14, and I was just like I loved it. Being able to like go to the theater to see that, the Faculty, like I had all of those on VHS on repeat. Like it was what a time to be alive.
Yeah. Now, like, my freaking Halloween was freaking Rob Zombie Halloween, which is fine. I'm a fan of the first Rob Zombie. I heard your episode, the Halloween one. We'll
Yes.
talk about that later. We'll talk about the Rob
Yes.
Zombie later.
I'll like I mean, we'll talk about it because I don't want
Yeah.
it to be like I'm like poo-pooing on it, but like because I know people enjoy it. I'm
Yeah.
just such a sucker for the OG.
You have yeah, everyone has their favorites.
Yeah. But we
And
will get into that because that's
yeah, yeah,
exciting
yeah.
to talk about.
And
Um,
I meant to ask you, who's your
yeah.
like number one hunk?
Oh man. I really I love okay, this is it, I'll do three, two, one. So three, I really like Dandy from American Horror Story. Finn Wood.
Oh,
Remember when he was the crazy one and it was the clown one? It was
yes.
show. There's one scene where he like got out of the tub of blood and he's sitting there flexing in front of the mirror in his tidy whities, and I was just like, oh my,
I love
hello,
that scene.
yes,
Yeah, yeah.
so good. Joseph from Creep. Those are the found footage ones.
Oh, yes.
Mark
With the bear costume or not the bear, right?
Werewolf. Yeah,
Werewolf, yeah.
it's Mark Duplass or whatever his name is.
Okay.
And then number one, oh boy. I this is so cheesy, but it has to be Jamie Kennedy, Randy from Scream.
Really?
I don't know what it is about that man, but in like, and I know he really didn't do too many other movies, like, but there was something about a nerd who loved horror
Yeah.
that was like a good dude, and I loved him in Scream 2, like with his frosted tips.
And then he dies. Ugh.
My heart forever broken. Like I will never recover from his death.
I could just picture him in the screens now. I feel like he'd be such a good character. Like,
Imagine what he could have brought to like 5 and 6, even with like Mindy and Chad. You know what I mean? Like
yes.
adding even having like that relative connection. But oh my god, what was I gonna say about Randy? Oh, I saw Scream 2 in the theaters and I literally like 2 breakdowns. That when that happened, I was just like holding my head.
Yeah.
Like I could feel the tears in my eyes. I'm like, no. And then the whole end with Dewey
Yeah.
and that whole chase scene, and then when he got stabbed, I was like, my mom's looking at me, I'm like, what's happening? Like, what
Yeah.
is going on in this movie? And my friends are like, are you okay?
So your reaction to Scream 2, because I think my first Scream I saw in theater actually
Mhm.
was Scream 5. I didn't watch Scream 4
Oh
in
wow.
theaters. So
Wow.
Scream 5 was my first actual Scream experience.
Mhm.
And imagine like being a fan of all the Screams and then seeing Dewey get killed off.
Oh my
It
god.
was literally I was bawling my eyes out. And then the slow motion with Gale running. Oh,
That I put that in my scenes that I can never forget because that and knowing that he wasn't coming back and we weren't going to hear the music and
yes.
watching her cry, I was just like I couldn't believe it. And I didn't like 5, but that's it. I was so angry, like the build up, and then when it actually happened and I realized he was dead, I was like,
Yeah.
it's like a part of your soul leaves your body.
Yeah. And I enjoyed 5. It took me a while to actually appreciate it.
Mhm.
I think once we got 6, it made me appreciate 5.
Yes, I feel like I'm on the same train as you. Appreciate it because it took me a few. You know how many times I watched that in theaters? I went like 4 times, 3
Yeah.
times,
Mhm.
and then I watched it with Roz, and she just having that like moment of seeing myself in her watching the movies and being excited over like the what's her name, Annika chase scene and subway
Yes.
scene, and she's sitting there. And when they did the reveal, she moved the little chair up to the TV, and like when everything started to unravel, she's looking at me. She's like, "No, no," and
She
I
was so excited.
yes, sending you the videos.
Yes.
It's just like a proud moment because as much as we love horror, to like pass that on and to share that with like family, it's
It's
top notch.
beautiful.
It's
Yeah.
awesome.
I love going to the movies with all my family when it's
Mhm.
all 5 of us. My dad doesn't go to the movies, but my brother, his fiance, my husband, my mom, like it's so cool, like family, you know?
It's so much fun. I'm such an advocate for the movies, and I missed it when the pandemic was happening. Like, I missed doing, like, the dinner thing
Me
and then
too.
going to eat. But you know what the first movie I saw like, when they started letting people go back to the movies?
Which one was it?
The Grudge, the remake.
That was mine.
Did you like it?
Girl, I had the freaking flu. And I
Oh,
went to the theater with the flu because I was not gonna miss it. Had a
yeah.
mask and everything, and it
Yep.
was fucking horrible.
We walked out.
I was pissed.
And it's so okay. And here's just like another amazing connection that we have that was like the movie that we both went to go see, you know, your circumstances. And then like it sucked that much to walk out after we'd been trapped in our house for how long?
Yes.
But I looked at Greg and him and I were just like, do you want to go like have a drink back at the restaurant? Because I knew they were gonna like let us back in. He's like, do you
Yeah.
want to go have a drink? I'm like, I think I need one after this because it was that bad.
Bad. And I don't condone going to the theater sick. Like,
Right.
but it was the first movie, and I mean, now I
Your
probably,
mask.
yeah, it was just horrible. Pissed.
We went to Halloween Horror Nights 2021 and I had COVID, but I didn't know that I had COVID. And I thought it was just
Ah,
like a bad sinus infection. So I was walking I mean, granted, we were masked too in Florida at
yeah,
the time, but when I realized when I came back what it was, I was just like, you feel like internally bad, but it's not like you knew, and it's not
yeah,
like you were like spreading it. So whatevs. But
yeah, yeah. What else? It's the past.
yeah, we'll get over it. But the
We'll get
Red
over it.
Band trailer had me so excited because Red
Yes.
Band gets me amped. Like I thought it was going to be Evil Dead level.
Yes.
Nothing.
And even what's her name? The girl, the old lady.
From Insidious.
Yes, she was in it, and I was like, "Holy shit, she's like a legend."
Yep.
And it was trash.
Trash. I think I classified that as one of the worst remakes up with like Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes.
But though like not even tolerable to watch. Like
Yeah.
like I always say that the fact that we walked out of the movie theater during the pandemic really
Yeah.
speaks
I
volumes. Like
agree.
yes.
But I did
Um,
like the movie premieres at home too.
oh yeah, definitely. I think it was nice too that we had accessibility to like streaming if we didn't want to go to the movies for like
Yeah.
series, because I feel like horror is always a must on the big screen if you can swing it.
Yeah.
Marvel, like those types of movies, I feel like,
They're meant for the big screen.
yes, but there's some like we watched Tetris, and I'm glad that we didn't have to go to the movies to see that. Like that's a good at home movie, but
Yeah.
it was surprisingly really good. Like,
Yeah. So like The Conjuring that got released at home, The Devil Made Me Do It. I'm glad I watched that at home because I didn't love it. I liked it.
yeah,
Now, Sick, the one that just came out recently, I
yeah.
wish I would have experienced that in theaters because that was, to me, I loved it.
You raved about that one, and I have yet to
Yes.
watch it. I just have to get that's Peacock, right?
Yes.
I have to get Peacock to watch that. And I think there's like a promotion going on too for Peacock. So all the more reason for me to do it. But I hear it's very Scream-esque because it's Kevin
Yes.
Williamson, and I'm in the mood for a good slasher.
Yeah, and I think that's why I enjoyed it because it's very like slash. It's very like 90s, like 2000s. I think that's why I liked it.
That's right up my alley. And to have that be available now with like all the
Yeah.
different types of horror that we have, I think that's refreshing.
Yeah, and the twist, it's great. You'll love it. You'll love it.
I love me a good twist.
Yes.
So what are just speaking of like our love for movies, what are three horror movies that are like constantly repeat comfort, like throw
Okay.
it in the background?
So obviously the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003. Um, hello,
Oh, oh, don't start
Jordana.
doing this. Sorry, my computer just froze. Can you see me?
Oh, I can see you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry. The you froze and then I circled out. I hope it doesn't start doing that.
Oh no, you're good. I can see you.
Okay, good. It did it for like
Okay.
a minute. You're like, you said it, and then your face like froze upwards, and then mine
I'm
went
like,
posing. Okay, we're good now. I'm sorry.
okay. No, you're good. So the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003.
Hell yes.
I'm a fan of the 1974. I truly am.
Yeah.
But the 2003 just does it for me because it was during my time.
Hmm.
So I have a more appreciation of it. Um, The Strangers.
So good.
It I that's one movie I wish I would have saw in theaters, but
Hmm.
I saw it at home and I love it. Like it truly scares me to this day.
Yeah, I mean, because that's like
And
such a realistic, like at
yes,
any moment, like it doesn't have to do with anything in particular. The elements could just align, and like there's your house.
it's literally because you were home. Like
Yes.
that is so fucked up, you
Ugh, I
know?
hate it. Gives me chills.
Yeah, I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
And then my third one, Halloween H2O. You really can't go wrong with it. Like, there's so many good Halloween movies. I love Halloween 4. I love Halloween 5.
Yeah.
Um, but something about H2O, like I could just put that in and just sit there and say the lines to the movies, like, and it gives you a little bit of nod to like old Halloween, but then also like 99, 2000 Halloween.
Yeah.
So it's great. I love it.
It's such like I forgot at what point I sat and I really like analyzed the movie, because I feel like when you watch movies as kids, you don't really like get the nuances. You don't really like pick up on like,
Yes.
the connections that you get when you get older, and like having, I mean, I knew that that was her mom, but just all these like little details that they put throughout the movie really just made it such a mate, like Nurse Marion being in the beginning,
Yes.
like
I didn't know that when I was younger. And then when you
I
get
didn't
older, you're
either.
like, oh shit. Like, I get it. And she's a nurse too. Like, what the
Yeah.
heck?
And like piecing her face because, yes, she's aged, but like I was the same way. I didn't realize it was her, but having that and like just all throughout I loved it. I love that they used the scream. Did you notice that they used the
on the
scream music?
TV.
Yep. Oh, well, like even during, yep, that part, but during the chase scenes, if you listen to like, I'm trying to like pinpoint it when they're getting chased out, if you mirror that to Scream, it's
Oh, the music.
yeah, it's like oh my God, what part is it? It's not Tatum. It's like towards the end, but it's like the end, like the third act of Scream. It's almost the same exact music.
I didn't know that.
I don't know if it is like if they put that in there, but the
Yeah,
next time you watch it, I want you
put
to
it
like
on.
listen for it and tell me if I'm crazy because
Okay.
I immediately picked up on that. I'm like, that is Scream music.
I think also too the one thing that I love is growing up, Halloween H2O was like the first Halloween that I actually well, Halloween Resurrection. And we'll talk about that. But I went back and watched Halloween H2O, and that was the first one that I actually loved and watched it through.
Mhm.
And I remember they did the flashback of Laurie in the closet.
Yes.
And I always wondered, where's that scene from? Where's that scene from? And when I got older, I saw the original Halloween. And I was like, oh shit, it all makes sense, because when you're a kid, you'll watch anything.
Yeah,
Um,
totally.
and so finally to piece it together, I was like, wow.
That's so funny you say that too, because the first time I watched Scream, I was 10 because it came out in 96. And when they were showing Halloween in the background, because Halloween was like the first movie that actually scared me. Like
Uh-huh.
when we lived in Florida, I felt like when he was driving around the car and they were driving around, it was like my neighborhood. I'm just
Yeah.
like, oh my God, that looks like my the trees. You know what I mean? Like you start thinking,
Yeah.
oh, is this filmed outside my or something silly as a kid? And I remember when they were playing it because I was already terrified of Scream and they had Halloween playing in the background. I'm like, oh God, I don't know if I can do this. Like I was,
Double the trouble, double
yeah,
the whammy.
double whammy. I had to shut Scream off the first time I watched it.
Really?
I was terrified when I saw Ghostface run by.
Yeah.
I was like, and his mask. I know it's like simple. It's just like,
It's clean cut. It's scary,
yeah,
actually. And now all the different types they're coming out with, like the blood one, the glow in the dark, the devil one. There's so many different Ghostface now.
I know. And like before, it was just so common. But I don't know. I'm a sucker for like a clean, crisp mask because there's something creepy about like if you were looking outside your house and it was complete black and you just see like a white mask
Yes. Kind of
staring
like
at you.
Michael Myers.
Yes, because he's everlasting scary. Like
Yeah.
the original mask is chef's kiss.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. So now we're talking about like back in the day, newer stuff. Who are some of your favorite like horror directors?
Okay. Um, so without a doubt, it's changed. I used to be a big Eli Roth fan.
Hmm.
Um, I also liked Michael Bay just because he did like that one. There was that one. I guess he did direct it. Like at one point, he was doing like horror.
Yep.
Before Transformers.
Yep.
And then of course I said Eli Roth, Wes Craven, of course. I mean, if you don't like Wes Craven, then
What the hell's wrong with you?
Um, yeah. But I think my like go-to like favorite like is Ty West. And
Yeah.
it's very recent, like
Mhm.
very recent to where like I put him on a pedestal because his movies are just so like dark
Yeah.
and I like the old touch he puts on it. Like it makes it very like vintagey.
Yes.
He did it with House of the Devil,
Yep.
which that movie fucking scared me.
I love that movie.
Um, and I love X
Mhm.
Pearl.
Didn't he do the Sacrament too?
Yes, he
Yeah.
did. That's the only one I haven't seen yet. It's on my list. Um, actually, I need to watch it.
You want to talk about like, you know how we've been watching like movies to make us feel weird? Like we watched Martyrs and we just watched Inside.
Yeah,
That one made me feel like this level of uncomfortability, like panic, like you feel like you're rushing for something. Like it was so well done that, and I know it's based off of actual events. It's like
yeah.
I don't know exactly what the real situation that happened. But it was so well done and
Wow.
dark, and it just made me feel a certain way. I think that you'll truly enjoy it because it's Eli Roth and it's produced by
Yeah,
Eli Roth and directed by him or whatever, but
yeah.
well good.
My husband's going on a business trip, and I'm gonna be home for a week by myself. Is that like the movie to watch, or like, will it scare me?
I think that it will make I think you'll enjoy it, but I think it'll give you like it's not how do I describe it? You won't feel like I don't know. I think you'll be okay to watch it by yourself because it's not like
Okay. I
someone's
mean, you
coming.
know me already.
Yes. It's not like someone's coming to attack you because I don't want to ruin it, but it's like situational. It's like when you're put in this situation. So I
Okay.
think that you'll be
It's
okay to watch it.
it's not like When a Stranger Calls vibes, right?
None.
Okay.
Not
Okay.
like inside where some crazy hoe bag's gonna try to break in and
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
it's nothing like that.
Okay, good. Yeah. Also James Wan. I love James Wan. Um,
I love him
you can't
too.
go wrong with him.
You can't. He like Insidious is still one of my faves
Yeah.
for like the paranormal jump scares, like so well crafted. Like that movie fucked me up.
Oh, I remember seeing it in theaters with my parents and my brother, and I
Yeah.
just remember screaming on the part when he's like walking outside of the house and he just
Yeah.
runs in. I still remember it to this day. It was so scary.
Because he does this thing where it's like, hey, look here. Hey,
Yeah.
something's going here. And you're like so hyper focused and you're like, what? And then he delivers it like that part, the part where she walks in and the guy's in the behind the baby's crib and you can just see his face.
Yes. And he's like, oh, yeah.
So
I
terrifying.
can't wait for the new one.
I am so excited and I'm really excited Dalton will be back.
Yeah, and I'm glad it's just one, two, and this one. Like the other ones, but
I watched them. They were okay. Like there, but one, two is I think two is just as equally scary as one.
yeah, I like the one where she breaks her legs from the getting hit by the car.
Which
Is
is
that
that
three?
I think that's three because it wasn't it like three and then there was like the skeleton key or something like
Yeah,
that? Yeah,
the skeleton one was.
yeah,
I was upset.
yeah. I was too.
I was upset, but yeah, Ty West, hands down.
Yes, Ty West is he's a force. I feel like he's going to be one of the he's already made such a name for himself.
Yeah,
And I think that he's going to be right up there with the OGs.
yeah. What about you,
I'm a John
John
Carpenter
Carpenter?
Hobag. I love him so much. I think he's great. I saw him play all his scores live.
Wow.
I'm so emotional when it comes to stuff, but I literally like was in awe of everything that he did. And then when he did Halloween for the encore, oh my god, I like
I bet you that would have been so beautiful to see,
it
like
was.
here.
And his son was playing with him.
Really?
Yeah, because Cody, they were on the new 2018 as well. Like
Yeah.
his son was on there doing that, and they have like their own band, Lutrium or something like that. But he was with them, and John was like talking about Halloween, and just listening to him talk about it, I could like feel it in my eyes. My husband was like holding my hand. I'm like, I'm gonna die. And then when he like stopped and I'm like already getting like watery eyes. He started playing it. I was like, it
Like
was
chills, literal chills.
it was amazing.
I love that.
It was a great time.
That's awesome.
I hope he goes back on tour again. And I love James Wan. I love him. I like Lutz, I can never say his name, Lucio Falsi, that does like the zombie movies. Like he did
Okay.
zombies, the Gates of Hell trilogy. It's blasphemous for to say this. This is my hot take. I enjoy him over Romero.
So I'm not really like a zombie kind of girl.
Mm.
When I think zombie, like zombie to me, like, ugh, this is gonna sound so basic. Well, not basic, but I love 28 Days Later,
So
28
good.
Weeks Later. Like that's my zombie movie. Like I don't like Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
I don't like Night of the Living Dead. I mean, I like Shaun of the Dead. I rather like you'll see me watch Shaun of the Dead over Dawn of the Dead. Like
There's nothing wrong with that though, because I think that it's very, it's your cup of tea. And a lot of like I don't zombies aren't high up on my list. I'm very much like found footage, paranormal or possession, slashers, creature features.
yes.
All of that is like my cup of tea. But there's something about him that stands apart, and I don't know why I found like and he doesn't even do the music, but the marrying of the music with his like the zombies, the shots, just
Yeah.
the grittiness of like the city of the Walking Dead. There's this one
It's
scene
well
where,
executed.
yes, and like the one scene, the chick's eyes, like she's staring at the priest and her eyes start to bleed, and then she opens her mouth and she's like vomiting her intestines.
Yeah.
Like I love
It's
it.
just so well done.
Yeah.
And yeah, and that's very important to me too is the score. The score
Yes.
has to be like it has I'm a sucker for scary music. And like
Mhm.
you know, when the scenes get intense and the music like picks up,
Oh yes.
kind of like Inside. Um
Oh my
the
god, that
music
music
in that
so good. I'm glad that you said that because I loved the music. I loved the obscurity of it, and I loved the weirdness of like the shots when like she was standing on the wall and it was blue and then she turned into a skull.
yes,
I was like, man, that movie,
it was intense.
I'm still trying to process what I watched.
I think okay, so what I was gonna tell you, if y'all I mean, okay, so Jordana told me to watch Inside, which we're trying to get into our torture porn era.
Yes.
Um, and long story short, I was like, mind you, I was at my desk watching it because I didn't have any work.
Yeah.
So I was getting so anxious. I ended up Wikipediaing what happened
You
because
did.
I couldn't like, I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, and so I was like, fuck this, I'm gonna read what happens and I'll ruin it. And
Yeah.
I was still scared. Like I was still like, what the heck?
You can read a synopsis, but that doesn't like transcend until or like it it's so different from reading to watching, and like the unfortunate events that happened for that poor girl, like from start to finish, like even her mom, like I won't, but her mom, like
I wasn't expecting that.
I wasn't either. And like you kind of like absorb her feelings. Like I would have cut my throat and been like, I'm done with this
Well, and
because
to be pregnant too, and like your unborn child, like it is. Oh, I've never like I felt gross after watching it. Like I don't know how Aubrey and Maddie watched this shit. Like I really don't.
that's okay. So that's what I wanted to say about extreme. So I like you and I both wanna I wanna expand. I wanna like try something new and see. With Martyrs, I felt super weird afterwards, and I was like, I don't know. And then I did the Inside thing, and people were like, "Oh, okay." I did it like as a joke. People were like, "Can't wait to hear what you think." So I'm like, "Oh, I might as well watch it." I felt so like uneasy. I felt sad. Like not to the extent of what happened to her, but like when I was pregnant, I got rear-ended and I got into an accident. And
Yeah.
that feeling of like, you know,
Is
am
the
I
baby okay? Am
yes,
I
'cause
okay?
yeah,
Yes.
because I didn't even care about myself. I was more concerned about like my kid, and then like just that feeling and going back to watching that and then like turning and then your husband like just so much. And I got like mildly emotional in the beginning because I couldn't imagine.
Yeah. Well, and I think the scenes too that kind of like I was just like felt like sick was whenever she was getting stabbed or hurt,
Yeah.
it shows the baby in her stomach like moving around, getting pushed around. And it's like, oh my God, like that's an innocent life.
And
Like,
making the faces. Remember when it would make like a face at like,
yes.
and that when that dude that last part and
Yes.
she's like, "Oh, the baby's coming." I'm like, "How are you? How? How?" And then like that end, like I said it in my TikTok video, that end fucked me up. I was just like, but
I skipped 10 seconds of it because I couldn't do it.
I didn't skip that part. You know, of course, me, the animal freak. When she, I don't, did she kill the cat? Because I think I fast.
She killed the cat.
I watched her, and when she was holding him tightly, I was like, "Oh fuck!" So I went like 30 seconds.
No, so at first she's petting it and
Yeah.
then
Like, I hate that. I'm sorry again. I won't go off on a huge tangent about that, but I don't understand why we have to kill animals in movies. Like, I don't. You're sadistic enough. Like the shit that
yeah.
she does. I don't really think you need to show a cat getting fucking killed, but whatever.
I think maybe because it's a fear for us animal lovers.
Yeah, it hurts me to the core. I don't like
It
that
does.
at all. It
I'm
bothers
a
me.
sucker for dogs, so I hate it.
I was gonna try to do funny games next for extreme.
Nicole Kidman?
Naomi Watts.
Naomi Watts. Sorry, I get them confused. I've seen that one.
And that one was the remake because there's like the original, and I like you, I read the synopsis before I did anything, and I saw like a dog dish in one of the pictures, and I'm like, not doing that.
Yeah, I've seen that one. It's not as bad as these. I'll tell you
No.
that.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe there's another one too that I found today called abstract ab something, and it's about like it's on Tubi, and it's about a psychological. I'll send it to you because
Okay.
it's the guy said compared to a Serbian film, compared
Oh
to
wow.
like he was comparing like the heavy hitters. He said I don't feel like they compare to this one, and this one's never
And
talked
you
about.
haven't seen a Caribbean film, right? And you're
Mm-mm.
probably not going to.
I will never. I just I
Okay.
can't. I don't think I can. I just
No, yeah. I don't blame you. I don't blame you
but I don't blame the people to like if they
to
have an idea
watch
of what
it.
it is to watch it to see, or even if they do enjoy it, that's fine. But like that shit scares me. That shit hits like on a different level, and I just
No, I respect it.
are you gonna
I
watch it?
I've seen it.
Oh, you have?
I knew when that scene was coming,
Hmm.
so I turned it off. I couldn't finish it.
I don't blame you. I mean, I get like we've had this discussion with Maddie and Aubrey, and I understand like the purpose of why it was made. But there's just and also too like I'm weird with like eating and like thinking of things that like happen. So when Aubrey was talking about Sallow about eating
Yeah.
like shit, I'm like I would not be able to eat for like a fucking week if I saw that.
Yeah. And for me it's like whenever they show like sexual assault, that
Mhm.
kind of stuff,
Yeah.
it like, it's hard for me to even watch the remake of Last House on the Left. So knowing what happens in that movie, it was just like I can't do it.
Yeah.
And nothing against people that want to watch it,
Yeah.
just because that's what it's made for. It's art.
Right.
But knowing it's coming, I'm like, oh no, I can't.
and
So
that's a lot of people say to me, it's just a movie. It's not real. And I'm like, okay, but here's my like look on it is, we have Jeepers Creepers, we have like all these different types of horror movies that are kind of
yes,
like really would never happen. But then you
yes,
have these movies where it's people attacking people, sexually assault or essaying people, uh,
yeah,
and like like in that regard, and that happens, and a lot like with the way that the world is going now, it's scary.
yeah. Because not that I'm saying, I mean, of course it can happen, but it's seems like it's a lot more common now, and it's sad to say.
Very much so.
But I don't know. I'm the type to like fast forward, fast forward,
Yeah, I want to be entertained. I don't want to be completely like
grossed
heartbroken
out.
about. Yeah, but
Yes,
it's the last thing on Inside that I wanted to tell you and talk to you about because it just has been sitting with me for so long, and it's a good thing. It's not like a bad thing.
yes,
The one shot, and I will literally stamp this as like maybe top 10 of my favorite shots in a movie was when Sarah fell asleep and she woke up, and it's like her on the couch, and you see something
in the
to the
back.
side. Yep. And then it starts to pan out. You think it's maybe like molding or some like a piece of furniture or something. And it pans and you see her standing there, but then she creepily goes
Steps
back.
back. Yes.
I don't know why, but I was downstairs by myself and I'm like, I was looking around and I was
I
so
was at work like, oh my God, is that someone back there? Like, oh, it was, yeah, that scene, that one was crazy. And when she stabs him in the knee from the back.
oh my God. When I saw that go through his kneecap, I was like,
Yeah.
like so intense. And then she like stabbed the shit out of his dick.
Yes. Yeah. And they didn't even show it. I'm like, oh, come
I know.
on.
Like, if we're gonna be extreme, like dimension extreme as they put it, let's see her like cut open his pants and cut off his dick.
That was funny too. It said Dimension and then it Extreme. I've never seen that before. I was like, okay.
I taped that because I saw Dimension come by and I was like, ooh, I got all excited because Screams and Halloween
Yeah,
each show. And then when I saw Extreme, I'm like, wow,
that's new.
yeah, this is something
Yeah,
different. But we'll have to like collectively maybe pick another Extreme movie that we could,
together. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm down. I'm down.
we'll uh, online hold our hands together because
Yes,
it's a lot.
it
Uh,
is.
okay, so I know we kind of talked about, oh, we wish we would have seen this on the big screen, but what are the three movies that you wish that you could have seen or,
Okay,
experienced on the big screen?
so I'll do three, two, one again.
Okay.
Um, three, it would have to be Scream 2, just because seeing the theater kill scene in a theater, I just to me that's like, oh my God, is this really happening right now? Like,
Yeah.
I would have loved that feeling,
Yeah.
like to know that.
Hmm.
Um, number two is the Blair Witch Project. I've seen Paranormal Activity. I've seen all the Paranormal Activities in theater. Um, but just to see the OG found footage film in theaters and
Yeah.
everyone thought afterwards that it was real, like that is amazing.
I saw it on the big screen and I for the longest time thought it was real too. That's really that did a number on me. When I was younger, I was like, "Oh my god."
Yeah.
I don't know
Or
if I
even like feeling like the dizzy aspect to it. Like I get sick whenever like the cameras flip.
yes.
So just to see the Blair Witch, I just know I would fucking be like motion sickness.
Yeah, totally.
And then number one, obviously, The Exorcist.
Oh, I know that's on my list too. That one, could you imagine?
I would go see it if they brought it back. I would go see it just because
Totally.
it that movie scares me. Like it still scares me.
To this
Um,
day scares me. And I would love to see it when it was released and to see everyone's reaction.
Especially as like a 12-year-old.
Yes. That movie is number one on my list. And I feel like there's so many other ones that I could have picked, but I got to see Jaws on the big screen on
Mm,
35 millimeter. I saw Halloween on the big screen and I feel like fulfilled. I'm like, okay, those are like my faves and I got to see those.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's so many like I'm trying to think what
I think the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like I still haven't yet to see it in theaters. That would be cool to see.
would I love Texas Chainsaw the original and I know a lot of people I don't want to say hate on it but they're like it's not really it's kind of boring it's not really this and that. I think it's one of the most like intense.
Yeah.
I never watched it when I was younger because it scared the shit out
It
of
was
me.
scary. And then when Sally is like laughing afterwards,
Yeah.
you're like, bitch, you are crazy.
You
Like,
are batshit crazy.
yeah, I love that. I love it. Oh, and then Carrie. Like, I would love to see that in theaters.
Yes, I saw that last year, and I'm really sad because the film festival that's local for us, this was their last year,
Oh,
and I'm so bummed because seeing Carrie was so amazing. And
yeah.
Hello, Mary Lou, prom night too.
I've seen the first prom night. I've never seen the second one.
Yep, that they played that one, and then they played zombie hookers or no vampire hookers. Wait, it was some sort of hooker, and it was like
Hooker.
an old movie, and it was super late and we had like quite a few beers and I'm like I'm gonna fall asleep but I'm just oddly intrigued in this movie. And it was
Yeah.
just like
I,
sailors and these like half naked I think they were vampires brought them to like their lair and they were seducing them and then it was crazy.
I would love to see a lot of these old movies in theaters. Like, I recently saw Titanic in 3D remastered,
Oh, that would be
and
amazing.
that was awesome. So I
Yeah.
could just only imagine if they brought back and remastered old movies.
Yeah.
Perfect.
You know
Perfect.
what I think would be amazing now that we talk about it would be bring back Jaws 2 3 and Revenge.
Mm,
Revamp it, do HD, do 3D for
the SeaWorld one.
yeah.
I love that one.
That's my fave. I love
Yeah,
it.
mine too. I
I
used to
mean,
work at SeaWorld, so
you did in Florida?
no, in San Antonio. Here.
Oh,
I was a dancer.
that is amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, so to know like, SeaWorld and Jaws, I'm a part
because
of that.
it's it's such a like it's such a far-fetched idea, but like
Yeah.
because I lived in Orlando and I'd go to SeaWorld and I would be lurking in the tanks and be like, Mom, I think I saw a shark. She's like, Joanna, it's
Like there's a
nothing.
crack.
Yes, because that's terrifying.
Yeah.
And that also too, that's on my list of twists. I love when they're like, it's not the baby, it's the mom, and she's inside the park. I'm like, she's gonna tear shit up.
Yes. I love that one. Jimmy, I think that's the best one. It has the most action.
Okay, so like I'm a horror for Jaws. I love Jaws. So, I think it's one of the best made movies, not even just horror, but like movies in general.
Hmm.
But entertainment wise, definitely three. I love three.
Yeah, for sure.
You, me, and this girl, Jessie, she does jewelry, Jessie Lynn jewelry. She does like beautiful pieces. She loves three. So I feel like we have like a little fan club started, like you,
Yes.
me, and her.
Yeah, and that was always the one I wanted to watch when I was younger. It's like the SeaWorld one, the SeaWorld one. Like,
Yeah.
I
I don't
love
want to
it.
see any of the other ones. I don't want to see the Bahamas one
Yes, yes.
with good old Michael
That's
Caine.
so funny.
Okay, so last ish question. What are some of your most anticipated horror movies coming up?
Okay. Without a doubt, A24 Talk to Me.
Wow.
I when I saw that trailer, I literally like chills.
Yeah.
And there's another movie coming out, and it's with like an all like Indian cast.
Oh,
What is it called? I forgot what it's called, but it's coming out,
yeah.
and she's in school, and the teacher's like in a locker, and like it's possessing her in the locker. Like I forgot what it's called, but I'll
Damn.
send it to you after.
Please. Yes, because I
Um,
would love to. That sounds creepy as
yeah,
hell.
the trailer was good, for
Yeah.
sure. But hands down, talk to me. Like just the fact that it's Australia. I
Yeah.
love the Australian accent.
Yes.
I love Love Island, Australia. So I'm so excited for this.
Yeah.
And what else? Um, oh, The Nun too.
When is that coming out? Because I know
I'll
that's
be on a
coming this year.
cruise, so I have to wait till I get back. But in September, September 5th.
Well, that's not too far away. Like it's crazy that we are in the beginning of the second week of June already.
Summer horror. Like
Like
there's so much.
I know, like The Exorcist will be here soon, right? Is it this year or is it
It's
24?
this year.
So we'll see what happens with that. I think I'm just more curious to see how it's gonna play out, like anticipated, but maybe not in such a good way.
Yeah, I'm nervous about it, but I'm open to give it a shot. I mean,
Yes.
if it's like Halloween, where Halloween and Halloween Kills were good and Halloween Ends sucks, I'm okay with that.
Yes.
Um, but I just don't want all of them to suck. Like that would be horrible.
I know. And like they're already weren't they saying that the reviews, the screenings were already negative?
Horrible. Yeah.
I wonder
Yeah.
if it's like
I
just jaded Halloween fans, like horror fans, they're like, fuck David Gordon Green, fuck this
yeah.
movie.
Well, and for me it's like don't fuck up a classic.
Thank you.
Like why?
Is it
Why kind of like what you were saying with Rob Zombie. Why give it like that childhood? Why give it like the story? Even though I loved Rob Zombie's Halloween, I loved the childhood.
yeah.
I know some people didn't, um, but like, don't give it extra shit that we don't need.
Right. And that's the thing. It's like I know that every story, every movie, every character has a backstory. And
Yeah,
I'm here for a backstory. Like I don't want it to because I had this discussion with a fellow, I think he comes on your lives too, like watches them. His name is Kale. And he, was taking it as I didn't like having a backstory to Halloween. I do, but I'm not a fan of Rob Zombie. So he's never seen any of the House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Reach, nothing prior to Halloween.
yeah,
Halloween was the first Rob
like his
Zombie story.
prior work.
Yes. So like seeing his wife be the mom, I was like, ugh, because I don't like her and I
It's
won't
automatically she's always guaranteed a role in his movie.
Right. And, everyone's like, well, there's no problem with that. I'm like, yeah, but if my husband was a director and I wasn't the best actress for the part, I wouldn't want him to hire me. I'd want his movie to be like successful. I mean, I know people are going to give me backlash for this, but you do know what I'm saying? Like,
But
you,
also too, she plays the same character in each role.
thank you. There's
Like
no dimension to her.
I love Devil's Rejects. I
Mhm.
love 31.
Yeah.
I love okay, I love all of Rob Zombie's films.
Just say
Um
it, babe. Speak freely.
I don't like Halloween 2 with the white horse. That one
Yeah.
can fall off the earth.
Yeah.
Um although I do love it because of Annie Brackett's final moments.
That is
Um
that was done so goddamn well though, and I'm sad that it's part of that movie
yes,
because it was such a fucking intense scene and it was so well done and I
that's literally the only reason why I watched that movie is because of
yeah.
that scene.
Mhm.
And like I said, I love Rob Zombie's films. I love Sherry Moon Zombie,
Mhm.
but she just plays every freaking role like hi, like her baby voice
Yes, and like bubbly I feel like
with
it
the
worked.
frizzy hair.
Yes, and I feel like it worked for the ones that you named, like Devil's Rejects, The House of a Thousand, and I haven't seen 31, but I feel like she would be fitting that one. That's fine, but I mean, I felt like doing the setup of how bad the family was. I get that because that usually has an effect on children and leads them to have the adult um issues when they grow
Yeah,
up. But I hated how they made him like super like I don't know. There was something about
like brutal, like fucked
yes,
up.
thank you. And like the shape, that's what
Yeah,
scared me about Halloween was like the shape and him stalking and just seeing like his outline. And it wasn't really gory. And that's okay because I felt like he was creepy enough to hold it together.
yeah,
That's just me. A lot of people can't, they think Halloween's overrated. They think Michael Myers is a pussy. And I totally get it. I understand that, but I just don't like his adaptation of it.
it was very like bodybuilder muscular, like he like
Jacked right up.
yeah, I feel like the original Michael Myers, that's he was born into that.
Yeah.
That's just he's just the shape, like
Yep.
that's him.
Yep.
Rob Zombies is just very like we're gonna make him look fucking huge and really scary to
Yes.
outdo the shape.
Brutal. Yes. And you know what? I'm glad that it was made for the people who weren't in the era of Halloween, who didn't care for that because they have an appreciation for it. So I have to
Yeah,
be happy for that because I love the franchise. So I'm not going to hate on that too much. It's just not for me.
one Rob Zombie movie that I do like, I had to
Mhm.
watch twice.
Mhm.
Lords of Salem.
Now, I haven't watched that, and that's one that I've been wanting to watch.
It's
Uh,
fucked up.
Okay, and not that it falls on the wayside, but I never think of it when I'm like I want to watch something new. I don't think of that, but now that you say that,
Lords
remind
of Salem and 31. They
yeah.
have nothing to do with A Thousand Corpse and Devil's Rejects.
Mhm.
Different storylines.
Okay.
Of course, it still has Sherry, but it works.
See, but if you saying that it's different uh, than like what we got from the other two,
Yeah,
then maybe it'll be different for me. So again, I love any recommendations and new stuff. So
yeah. I mean, if I know a lot of people that aren't fans of Rob Zombie, but like I said, they they're different.
yeah, at least he's doing it too. Like I got to give credit when credit's due to the people that are creating, the people that are making these
Yeah,
movies, because like shout out to you for you know doing this for us, having it be your passion, giving us horror. Like I've learned to like not be so hateful and dogging a bunch of people. Like if I don't like it, I don't like it to move on.
it's just what's the word, like criticism, positive criticism,
Yeah, constructive.
constructive criticism.
Yeah, exactly. And
Uh,
like it's hard because a lot of people, you know, with the announcement of Terrifier 3, you know,
a lot of people are
actually
not excited for it, and I'm
I
like,
know. And they're like, I read the comments, they're like, how did this happen? I'm like, it was a $250,000 budget that made 10 or like was it
yeah,
$15 million? Like he's a hot commodity right now, whether you like it or not. Like, how did they not think it was
people
going to
like,
get a sequel?
yeah, people just love. the like what's gonna happen next. How can you outdo the coochie scene? How can you outdo the saw head scene? Like, how can
Yeah.
you outdo that? So
And you know what? It's fair to ask those questions, but I think that Damien has stuff up his sleeve, and I'm really happy that an
yeah,
independent, movie like that had its success, because now it's like propelling, horror into the spotlight, just like Smile.
exactly. He knows what's coming. He knows what's next.
Yeah.
And when we see it, I'm sure we're gonna be fucking shocked, just as the first time and the second time.
I can't wait. That's like I think I'm for my most anticipated of 2023. It's going to be me for 2024 for Terrifier 3, because I'm
Terrifier, yeah.
so goddamn excited for that. So
I hope we get it that fast. I hope we do.
I do too. I mean, I think we're going to get what Beetlejuice is, going to be in production soon. Scream 7. I'm sure we're going to hear something about that soon.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
And they're redoing Halloween Ends. No, I'm just kidding. I wish.
Did you see my face? I was
Yes.
like, oh God.
I wish they would like redo it like better.
Did you know that they had, okay. So again, I spoke to Gale today, and he's such a man of wisdom and opinions, and I love talking to him. But he told me that they shot the 5 endings to that movie, and then they picked the one that they went with last minute. So I'm curious if we're ever going to get
An
cutting room
uncut.
floor. Do you think so? Do you think we'll get that?
Maybe like in 20 years when they release like the special edition DVD.
I don't even think I'll care about it then. Like, if you're gonna if a decision is going to be changed in my mind, I need to see that shit now. I need the
Yeah.
evidence
Oh,
right now.
without a doubt. I agree.
Because a lot of people think that it's going to be like the new season of The Witch.
It is, well, I haven't seen Season of the Witch. I still need to watch it. But from what younger Mark used to compare Season of the Witch to, it was Season of the Witch.
Right. Because what the hell is a Halloween movie without Michael Myers?
Exactly.
Like, it's trash.
Exactly. Without a doubt.
Yes, I completely agree. All right, babe. So I'm out of questions. I probably could have come up with 15 more for you, because I love talking to you about horror, but that just saves us time for another episode.
Yes, we should do a breakdown of like, I don't know, like our favorite like kills, or even a breakdown of the van scene from Texas Chainsaw. Like, imagine a whole
Listen,
hour.
I could talk about that for an hour. If you want to do like kills, I would love to do that. I would love to do anything with you. So like anytime again.
I
And
know, I know you said you like found footage. What's your favorite found footage film?
ooh,
And maybe we can.
yes. Okay, I'll give 2 that I really
Okay,
truly love. Do I want to do 2 or do I want to do 3? I'll do 3. I love number 3 would have to be, unfortunately, because I know it's so goddamn good, but Wreck.
okay,
2 would be Host on Shudder.
okay. Yes, I've seen that.
I love that one. I don't
That
know.
was scary.
That came out of nowhere, and I'm like, what are you gonna do in 50 minutes?
Yeah.
And that shit fucking delivered.
Yes.
I love that one. And number 1 is Hell House.
Yes. That movie's scary. I remember screaming through that whole fucking movie.
I know. My sister-in-law came to, like, okay, so we relocated a few years ago. So my husband's family comes down, and they'll do like the awesome movies with us and go to like,
Yeah.
haunts and stuff down here, because we're in a bigger area. And my sister, I just gotta call her my sister because she's my sister-in-law, but my sister will watch horror movies, day and night when they're down here. And we watched Hell House, and everyone went to bed. We had a few drinks, we were on the couch, and you know how it goes. You know how it, like, it's
Yes.
fine, and then all of a sudden it propels you into like
Yes.
the 10th layer of hell. And she's like, Jordana. And I'm like, what? And I had like the blanket up. She's like, will you sleep down here with me tonight? Like, we're on separate couches, but she was just like terrified. I had to pee. I did not want to get up. I wanted to piss on the couch because I did
Yeah.
not want to get up.
Even the black and white clown, like that mask, and then when it like turns, like
They're all looking when he went down to check, and it's so simple. It was the simplest effective, like, I don't know. I just
yes.
love that one too. I thought was decent. I didn't mind too, but those are
I
I
know we're getting like another one, but is it like a remake?
it's an origin story,
An origin. Okay.
and I'm here for that.
Yeah.
What
Wait,
about you?
so well obviously Hell House.
Yeah,
And I have to sit down and like concentrate.
yeah.
But like actually my newest like favorite one
Mhm.
is Paranormal Activity Next to Kin.
Oh, I have that on my watch list because I wanted to.
Honestly, I love the Paranormal Activity movies, but
Yes,
Next to Kin, the fact that it has no like it's just a different storyline, different story, like nothing with the origin story.
yep,
Oh my God. And then it has to do with like, like out in the country, the all that weird shit. Like
yeah.
it was just great.
The
It
country
was great.
settings are perfect setup for just unlimited terror,
Yes. And
scariness.
when it
Like
has
you can
to
do anything with it.
yes, and when they add religion to it, oh,
Oh,
beautiful. You have to watch it.
yes, because I love me a good possession, religion
Yes.
tie in with that. So I yes. Oh, now that you're even saying that and you're saying like religion with found footage, I'm thinking like, and it's not religion, but like the taking of Deborah Logan.
Oh my God.
Like
I
how
recently just saw that last year.
oh, terrifying. And I hate
My
snakes.
Yeah, my brother had to leave because he couldn't finish it. It
I
was good though.
saw it. That's a good one though.
Yeah. By the way, my brother absolutely loves you.
I love you, brother. Would he ever come on and talk?
I'm sure he would. I'm sure he always wants to go live with me on Instagram, but I'm always like, Mike, you're not like a professional horror queen, but we'll see. Maybe we'll see.
Maybe someday. Well, let's get him on one time and we can have him come on and talk with us for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm down. I'll tell him for sure.
Please. I would love that. And then give me your other I didn't want to cut you off, but give me your other found footage.
Oh, found footage. Um, it's gonna sound basic, but I really like Paranormal Activity 3 when they're little girls.
The little girls. Ooh, that one.
Yes.
Ooh.
And then it end up like in the with the freaking what's it called? The cult and all the old ladies. Oh, that one was so scary.
Oh, good. I now I want to go back and watch all the paranormal activities because they're
I need to
so
do that.
good.
Yeah. And then the Hispanic one too, the Mexican one.
Oh God.
A marked one. Is it a marked one?
I
Paranormal
think
Activity unmarked one?
I think so. I
Yeah,
think.
I loved it too because like it had like I growing up, of course, I'm Hispanic, so I saw a lot of like the funny like Mexican like lingo and jokes.
Yeah.
And watching it, I was just like, oh my God, this is like hits the spot. It was perfect.
Yes. That's I'm doing it. This week I'm watching all of them. Like I
Watch Next to Kin first. You don't have to watch in any order. That one first, for
yes.
sure.
And that one was just not like fresh, but it's new up on Plex.
Like maybe a
Yeah.
year ago, 2 years ago.
Yes. So I will definitely watch that one first. But I'm excited because I'm like, it's like a horror lull. I'm like, what am I gonna watch? Like I wanted to do something different, something
Yeah.
new. And I feel like I need to jump out of the like depressing extreme horror and I need to get
Yes.
into something a
Give
little
it a
bit
break.
please.
Yeah, but we should definitely talk found footage soon.
Let's do it. Because I
Yeah.
know so with that being said, we'll do our little outro. So what's like what's coming up next for you? Like what do you have planned episode wise or any lives or anything like that?
Um, so I'm gonna be doing for Pride Month, I'm talking like LGBTQIA plus horror,
Yep.
queer horror. And I know we're gonna go live on my Instagram
Yep.
later this month. But just talking about like what our favorite movies, what our favorite queer horror movies are.
Yep.
Um, stuff like that. So I'm doing that for the month. I do Core 4 once a month.
Yes.
So that's staying forever. But
Yes.
yeah, I mean, just I try to go at least once a month with the Core Four, and then for special occasions like Pride Month, I'll do like a whole month thing.
Definitely.
But that's pretty much it for now.
That's awesome, babe. But I mean, this won't be the end of us because we will definitely be doing an episode together soon because I had so much fun and I'm
Yes,
very thankful that you took the time out to sit and talk with me.
of course. I'm glad. I'm finally. I know we've been talking like, when are we gonna do this? When are we gonna do it? And we finally did it. So I can't wait to re-listen to our voices and
Yes.
watch it on YouTube,
Yes.
everything. I'm
I think
excited.
everyone's gonna love our chemistry because I think we have great chemistry, and I think that just how excited we just got about found footage.
Yes.
Girl, I feel like we could talk hours about found footage.
Yes.
So, and I wanna, like, go down a rabbit hole and find, like, hidden gem ones that, like
I'm sure we can. Um, like I don't know. I'll save it. I'll save it. But there's one I just recently watched. We'll talk about it.
okay, awesome, and I'm also going to include Mark's links all in the description down below, so if you are not, which I'm sure everyone is, please go like, follow, show this wonderful human being as much love as possible because I love him that much. Um,
I love
and
you.
I love you too. Thank you for coming on, love. And I'm just glad everyone tuned in, and I hope everyone has a great night. And until then, until next time, we will see you later.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.